We often hear how important it is to focus on our work, to go into deep work, but actually doing it is another story. The good news is that you can trick your brain into loving deep work. In this video, I'm going to share 3 ways to do just that, so let's get started. The first way to trick your brain into loving deep work is to change how you think about deep work. It sounds simple, but the way we perceive something largely determines how we feel about it. For example, if you tell someone that a certain food is poison, even if it tastes delicious, they will not enjoy it because they believe it's poisonous. On the other hand, if you tell someone that a certain food is medicine, even if it doesn't taste that good, they will still try to enjoy it because they believe it's healthy for them. So what does this have to do with deep work? Well, imagine that you are a Viking warrior who goes into deep work sessions. Not because he likes it, but because he knows he has to do it. So every time he starts a deep work session, he tells himself, I am a Viking warrior doing warrior work. And sure enough, his brain starts responding to these statements. He feels more focused, more disciplined, and less likely to quit. Why? Because he changed the meaning or the narrative of what he was doing. See, his brain didn't know what to do with the information I have to do work, so it started making excuses and finding distractions. But when he reframed the information and said, I am a Viking warrior doing warrior work, his brain knew exactly what to do because now it had clear instructions. So next time you start a deep work session, try telling yourself, I am a Viking warrior doing warrior work, or come up with your own narrative and see how much of a difference it makes. Now, the second way to trick your brain into loving deep work is to make it easier to do deep work. You see, our brain loves shortcuts. If there's an easy way to do something, it will always choose that over the hard way. That's why it's easier to find distractions than to focus. So if you want to make deep work easier, you need to remove all the friction points that prevent you from getting into deep work. What are some of those friction points? Well, for me, one of the biggest ones was having multiple tabs open while I was trying to do deep work. Every time I saw a notification or a message pop up in one of those tabs, my brain would be like, hey, you need to respond to that. So even though I knew I shouldn't, my brain kept pulling me back to those tabs. So what did I do? I closed all those tabs and I told myself, hey, I am not going to check any notifications while I am doing deep work. And guess what? It made such a huge difference because now there were no distractions around me. I could focus on what I was doing and get more done in less time. Now, this is just one example. You might have other friction points that prevent you from doing deep work, like having too many snacks around you or not having the right music playing in the background. So take some time to reflect on what those friction points are for you and remove them. Make it easier for your brain to do deep work, and it will love it. The third way to trick your brain into loving deep work is to make deep work more rewarding. You see, our brain is always trying to maximize reward and minimize cost. So if the reward is low, it will be hard to get your brain to do the work. But if the reward is high, it will be easier. So here's what you need to do. You need to make the rewards of deep work more immediate and more significant. How do you do that? Well, one way is by tying your rewards to the completion of small milestones. For example, you could say to yourself, if I do 30 minutes of deep work, then I will allow myself to take a 5-minute break and check my phone. Or if I finish this paragraph, then I will reward myself with a cup of coffee. By doing this, you are essentially creating mini incentives for your brain that make it more likely to stick with the task at hand. Another way to make the rewards of deep work more immediate is by changing how you think about the work itself. For example, instead of thinking, I have to clean the house, think I get to spend some time in my favorite place. Instead of thinking, I have to study, think I get to learn something new. By changing your mindset, you can change how your brain perceives the task, and that can make it more rewarding. So there you have it, 3 ways to trick your brain into loving deep work. Just remember that it's all about perception. Your brain doesn't know what it feels like to do deep work, so it's up to you to guide it and show it the way. So give these tips a try and see how much of a difference they make in your productivity and in your happiness. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.